Hi.
Hi, how do you feel today?
I'm good. I'm happy about the weather, about the sun. Yeah.
Nice. You as a designer, so tell about yourself. What are you doing and right now?
I would say that my professional career started with the topics related with the body, how let's say objects mirror our bodies and vice versa, and what kind of sensual connection we have with them or wish to have with them, or maybe the meaning lies there in this connection. So yes, whatever I was designing, I looked at the relation, the connection with the body, and if that was a piece of jewelry, then I looked at certain body parts and tried to capture some shapes, or I was also observing the movement of the body, and maybe the movement was suggesting me some sort of shapes and objects to happen. Later on, I always had a sweet spot, you say, right, for historical things. So I did research, I had PhD project for 4 years, almost 5 years, and I was interested in general, starting from the body, but like trying to understand why we have certain understanding or perception of the body in Western culture, and this affects our relation with objects, with other objects as well. So that was the initial wish, let's say, to start this research, and then later on I found some interesting parallels between the anatomy studies and the anatomy of the object, how you perceive it, where the soul is, as I said. Like the surface is important, but then the insides also. Sometimes you cannot see what's inside, how the object is made, but by only knowing from what kind of materials it is built or the way it is built, you see it in a different light. It has a different meaning for you, different value. So it's very obvious how we see and why we see value in historical objects, in old objects, in used objects. But I was curious, is it possible to create a new piece which has the same soul as an old, for example? Because we naturally presume that an old object, an old chair, has some soul, right? I realized that in a new object, you should leave it unfinished a bit, just to leave some sort of a gap for your own fantasy, for your own gaze, for I don't know, just just to leave an intrigue, to provoke a bit, not to give a full satisfaction about the look, about the image, the object. So I thought it's equal to the historical objects, which are a bit used. They have holes, they have I don't know, damaged surface. Sometimes you see the insides, the inwards of the object. Maybe you can see the layers and so on. And I guess it's sometimes difficult to have the same relation with a perfect new object nowadays.
Don't criticize yourself. So tell about your design works. Like what are you working like now? What do you create for the new cycle? go there?
For the new pieces, I had an idea that I want to continue my ideas, my insights that I found out during my research years. Uh, mm, Also, I wanted to leave some traces of the craft visible in the, or like the touch of a tool, of a hand, which made the object. Also, I wanted to use the motif of unfinished, of having some weird gaps. Just yeah, on the way you always get some new ideas, some unexpected ideas, or just intuitively you want to add or change something during the process. So yes.
So what is about? What is the topic? You said unfinished, but maybe go dig deeper with the concept. Like,
So these objects, they clearly they are flirting, or let's say I am flirting with a historical objects, like some historical associations, rethinking the meaning of decoration in a contemporary times. Also, how the author feels working with the natural materials, with the wooden surface. It's a long process, many tools, and so on. Also, I'm like questioning the differences of CNC made objects with handmade objects, and I'm mixing everything together. So the objects have some metal inlay. I was curious to try this technique in very different contexts, let's say. And as I said, in a way I wanted to picture this tension between like finished and unfinished, perfect and perfect, rough or very smooth. So I guess in general it represents the tension, our relationship with objects. They are quite common objects, like typologically. It's a table and a shelf. But at the same time, when you look at it, you can see so many associations with I don't know, with something marine, with a boat, with other kind of things.
So, tell about the most interesting objects do you have?
Okay, there is one object. It's a light object, which I made out of the leftovers of my previous projects.
What is the name of?
It doesn't have
The name?
The name
Okay.
precisely, or like doesn't matter so much. I haven't decided yet. Yes, so it's a light object made out of leftovers. It just, you know, sometimes during the process you see some beauty in the materials and some cutouts, and it was a piece of board, which I have few of them. I got them, let's say, in a very rough condition, so I had to make them smooth and then give it to the CNC cut and so on, and then I was left with some negative spaces which were wooden, and in a way they still kept some natural wooden look, but at the same had very artificial cutouts. And it made me curious. Also some other, because I also showed the material in the exhibition together with some previous objects, and some people also noticed them as an intriguing object. So I made a light object out of it. And there the holes have different meaning, and suddenly a piece of leftover becomes even more precious than probably the object before that it was used for as a material. Of course, you can see some sustainability aspect in that, but since I'm just making a few objects, it doesn't change much globally. So I'm not gonna say a lot about it.
Where are you leading yourself right now in the future? Like, what do you know? Because you create these new pieces, so what is the next, from your perspective?
It's always interesting to look retrospectively at your own works, and sometimes you get surprised what kind of ideas you had many years ago already that resonate to your own ideas right now. So I guess it always goes in some circles. You at first you think that you just got something new, or this is a super fresh idea, but actually you had it already some time ago. So where I'm going with my works, with my creative practice, I guess I'm at the point where I want to look back as well and see this process, let's say, of 10 years in a way, like, as I said, as a circular motion. Also what I mentioned about the body itself as inspiration, and also the craft, what kind of traces I leave as an author in the material, also what kind of energy I leave there, how a person also as a body and as a human being feels next to my object, what kind of relationship it can have. It's just interesting, let's say, how I had some attempts to work with wood, let's say during my master's studies, but it was just a tryout. And then suddenly I realized that after 10 years, 11 years, I'm doing the same path in a way. Also, some design language that I used in the jewelry just naturally, intuitively ends up in my wooden furniture without even rationally thinking or connecting everything together. But I think that the meaning is somewhere in between, like, or let's say in between of lines over here.